Today has absolutely been one of the craziest days for crypto. And I think whenever bad things happen, you've got two options. You can cry like a little baby or accept it and use it to make freaking money. Because again, what happened is Binance got sued and then Coinbase got sued, and now Robinhood is thinking of taking cryptos off of their exchange. At the same time, and this is crazy, the SEC is telling Binance that for the US division, everything needs to get frozen. And then at the same time, against Coinbase, two very important things have happened. One is the SEC, because of their lawsuit, is now forced to respond. And second, an additional couple of states came in, some US states, to say, hey, Coinbase, we're coming after you too. And there were 10 different states that have done that. Now, like I just said, you've always got two options. And the reason I'm saying that is because with the whole situation here, we saw some FUD. We saw prices come down ever so slightly, but one of the things you guys most likely noticed is that things rebounded rather quickly. You know why that is? Because people are fed up with the way the SEC has been controlling crypto. It's not the way to go about it. Now, before we move on, guys, if you've not pressed that like button yet, make sure you do so. One thing that's quite interesting is how different senators and different people, let's call it higher up the ranking, are seeing this endeavor by the SEC. We've got here Senator Cynthia Lummis, who said that the SEC failed to provide a path for digital assets to register, and even worse, has failed to provide adequate legal guidance on what differentiates a security from a commodity. The SEC's continued reliance on regulation by enforcement continues to harm consumers. Real consumer protection requires a robust legal framework that exchanges can comply with, not pushing the industry offshore or into the shadows. Because logically speaking, through their way and approach, the only thing they're gonna get is for companies like Coinbase to move over to places like Dubai. And then as kind of a response or a logical follow-up, what was just announced? House Financial Services Chairman Patrick McHenry has just announced a full committee hearing, Financial Committee and the U.S. House Committee on Financial Services, scheduled for next Tuesday, June 13th, entitled The Future of Digital Assets, Providing Clarity for the Digital Asset Economy. Because if you thought they did not take it serious, I'm talking about guys that are a little bit higher up than just us. We're just speaking here about the situation, and we think it's ridiculous. I think Gary Gensler should be sent straight to jail, but it's not up to me to decide. Take a look at Senator Bill Hagerty, though. He said the SEC is weaponizing their role to kill an industry. Allowing a company to list publicly, talking about Coinbase, and then stonewalling their attempts to register is indefensible. Now, what exactly we're talking about here, I'll show you in a couple of seconds. Gary Gensler, expect to hear from Congress. Because understand, Gary Gensler spoke in front of Congress really recently, but it was pretty useless. We expect, though, that some retributions are going to be coming up quite shortly. Anyway, what I was just referring to is this right here. So the chief legal officer over at Coinbase, and again, guys, if you've not pressed that like button, make sure you press it. It does absolutely nothing for you, but puts a smile on my face, so why not do it, right? Earlier tonight, the Third Circuit issued a short order in Coinbase's mandamus action today. The court noted the SEC suit against us this morning and asked the SEC whether that means the SEC has decided to deny our pending petition for rulemaking. The SEC has 7 days to respond. So what has just happened is that the SEC has forced themselves into the ratty little cockroach corner that they deserve to be in, because they basically said against Coinbase, hey, we're warning you now for a lot of different things. Coinbase in response said, let's get the rules cleared up. SEC, no response. So Coinbase sued them for it to get these rules cleared up. The SEC still no response. And then the SEC sued Coinbase. And so the, Third Circuit was then like, the court was like, wait a minute. So the SEC, you're not willing to make rules then, or what? You've got 7 days to respond on whether or not you're willing to work with Coinbase or in general to get these rules out there and cleared up and work together perhaps. But okay, we already know that the SEC will probably say, no, we're not going to be working with crooks. at the Coinbase Bureau. And so already I can tell you that next week is about to be huge. On a side note, they do have the potential for actually extending it a little bit, which the SEC is known for. But generally speaking, FOMC, inflation, the William Himon documents, everything is coming out next week. It's going to be a pretty action-packed week. I think it's rather funny, though, that the SEC has literally trapped themselves in a corner. Because now they're going to have to admit that they do not want to make proper rules because they sued Coinbase that was trying to get rules out there, which is interesting. Anyway, to continue on, there is a lot of speculation of the crypto market crashing soon. Now, let me tell you one thing. If crypto were to crash, it would have probably happened right after Binance and Coinbase both got sued. But as you guys noticed, prices went down, went straight back up, and right now are at the same price, if not higher than where we were before Binance even got sued. All the while, the SEC asks for emergency order to freeze Binance US assets anywhere in the world. And you got to understand, this is not necessarily normal. I mean, you might be able to state that they made a mistake with FTX and are now trying to rectify it this way, but I don't think so. I think this is a matter of them trying to stop Binance, full stop, period. You can't tell me that this is to protect investors, as this could potentially, for as far as the SEC knows, lead to a bank run, meaning that people would lose crazy amounts of money. And the SEC is not stupid. They know that for a fact. DAI and some others are saying that potentially, or actually, let's start with Kim.com. He said, I told CZ he's finished after setting FTX on fire. Joe Biden loves to go to war for his biggest donors. And DAI said, many forget CZ broke up the political money laundering operation that was FTX. Yeah, there's definitely some interesting thoughts to get there. I mean, if you really start thinking about it, Coinbase, Binance, these are two of the most trusted, looking to get properly regulated industries, or I should say behemoths, institutions. Again, Coinbase has Coinbase Institution, Coinbase Custody. Coinbase has so much that they all had to properly register with the SEC. They've literally filed a motion with the SEC to go and sit down to talk about the rules. So what would you have expected them to do? How could they have operated any more better than they did? Yet, if we're talking about all these stupid scams, all these impersonation scams over on Twitter, leading people to lose millions of dollars, one of them happened quite recently, or all these rug pulls and crazy things, where's the SEC to protect people against those, huh? Now, there's also some speculation that the Department of Justice might actually start filing some criminal cases against Binance soon. All I can say on that is we'll see, all right? We will see. I can speculate, but it's nothing more than speculation, so I want to kind of keep that on the lower end. One more thing I wanted to show you if I have it open somewhere. I'm not sure exactly which one it was. There's a couple. This could only affect Binance US if granted by the court, does not affect Binance. This is talking about the restraining order to freeze Binance US's assets, but also that they failed to catch FTX. They failed to protect Grayscale investors. They failed to protect Voyager, Genesis, BlockFi, etc. But only now guys that are pretty capable and doing pretty nice, they want to go after, which is again why we think that this is a bigger operation than what they're making it out to be. And again, John Deaton says, because of the filing of this injunction, at this point in time, I suspect the Department of Justice will file criminal charges. I'm not suggesting that the DOJ should file charges or that there's merit one way or the other, but this move is Gary Gensler front-running the DOJ on claiming litigation dibs, saying, hey, we were first. Gensler has ruthless ambition. The criminal charges will also fit this administration's narrative against crypto, Bitcoin, crypto, and this administration's war against innovation will be a big deal in the 2024 election. And on the side, you should also understand that with Coinbase, kind of a similar thing happened. US SEC sued Coinbase right after 10 different US states also went to sue Coinbase. And to put the icing on the cake, I think all of this is very positive for Ripple, but we're going to talk about that a little bit later as some other cool things are happening for the XRP ecosystem. But Brian Armstrong just said, stand with crypto. What it basically stands for here is everybody coming together to protect crypto as a concept. We've said this for freaking months or years with the Ripple case that they're going after crypto and they're going to go after everybody. People kept ignoring it. It's only now that some of our behemoths are getting touched that they're like, oh, maybe we should get close to starting to think about paying attention. But that's the way that people work. It's not bad. I understand their laxness and not, feelings of hurry, basically, because it did not concern their pockets too much. yet. I keep on saying it, guys. I think the entire XRP community will be different soon enough because a lot of the people now are starting to realize that whatever Ripple was preaching for wasn't just out of their own best interest. It was out of the entirety of crypto's best interest. And so I think we're going to see some sort of narrative shift rather soon. You guys can't perfectly see, but I also decided to just mint one NFT here real quick, which is apparently the stand by or with crypto NFT. Do I think that's useful? Not necessarily, but the idea from Coinbase's side, for as far as I've read, is that everybody on Twitter should place this as their profile picture. 133,000 have been minted to showcase to the SEC that we do not stand for this. I again think it's kind of similar to where John Deeden rallied 75,000 XRP holders to stand up against the SEC by putting them inside of the Ripple SEC case. It's kind of similar. I don't think Coinbase kind of wants to do that the same manner, but I personally believe, as I said before, that at the end of the day, this is all quite bullish for crypto. Prices did not go down. Money is back up. People did not exit Binance, even though we're calling for all this freezing and shenanigans. Let's say you are scared of Binance. I've got a couple of different exchanges that I'm still personally using down below. And again, you can never know what exchange is going to be next, but right now the majority of funds are moving from Binance to OKX because a lot of people are trusting them more. If that's something you're interested in, I'll leave a link for that down below as well, just to be sure that you're always properly diversified with your exchanges. And I'll see you guys again in another crypto video tomorrow. Later today. More coming up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for that because if you're not subscribed, you're missing out on potatoes. Well,